All right, you probably read the title and you're like, another Gen Z, millennial, trying to cancel something that's harmless. And first of all, I don't know if I'm a millennial or Gen Z. I tried to Google and I can't find any answers. It's different answers every time. I was born in 1998, so if you guys could tell me if I'm Gen Z or millennial, that would be great because I'm kind of having an identity crisis because I don't know if I'm cool with the kids, if I'm Gen Z, or if I am a millennial, which is cool, I guess. And second of all, cancel culture is not real. It will never work, and it never worked. Okay? Period. See, am I a Gen Z? Period. I should stop saying that. Anyway, so toxic charity. You're watching, so you probably know who I am. You're my friend. Thank you for watching. And as you can tell, or as you have seen on my social media, I started a charity organization called Heart Cry Philippines around July 2020, but made it official around September, end of August. And I just started making projects from there. My goal was to give to people freely, unselfishly, without any ulterior motive, because everybody deserves the best. Everybody deserves excellence, regardless of their status, regardless of their condition, regardless of what they have or don't have. That was my goal. That was my vision. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to spoil people. I wanted to show my love through acts of service or through gifts. Was that wrong? I'll give you 10 seconds to answer that. Okay, no. Was that wrong? Maybe. Were my intentions bad? No, not at all. And if you have ever helped someone, gave someone spare change, did feeding programs, gave a homeless person food, was that wrong? No. Were your intentions wrong? Bad? No, of course not. But is all good charity good? No. At what point does charity become toxic? So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about my experience. Even though it hasn't been long, I've seen and experienced things that I haven't. That sounded so cliche, but I've also read this book by, I don't want to butcher his name, but Rupert Lupton. Let me check. Robert. Did I say Rupert? Robert. Robert Lupton. Lupton. His books, Charity Detox and Toxic Charity. And he talked about how charity becomes toxic after a while. If your trajectory is going in the wrong direction, even though your intentions are right. So we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about what we can do about it, what you can do about it, even though you don't have a charity organization, or if you think, or if you're thinking of starting one, or if you're thinking of joining one, or honestly, if you're someone who wants to help someone, yourself even, the things that I'm going to talk about can also apply to yourself as well as others, your friends, your family, or a person you see on the street that needs your assistance. Okay, so let's talk about it. I will be looking down because I have notes because I don't want to miss anything. Even though this is a long discussion, I don't want to keep this video for too long. I just want to get direct, straight to the point, keep it as succinct as possible because I don't want to waste your time. Anyway, so first, short-term relief will lead to dependency. Repeat after me. Short-term relief will lead to, what was that? Long-term dependency. Okay? Why? We see people doing feeding programs. We see people giving spare change. I did. Okay. Donating clothes. Okay. Things like that. And we've also seen people that don't do those things. For example, before I was kind of petty, but I thought I was right. Whenever I'm in the car with someone and like a beggar comes to our car, approaches our car, I would like observe if the person I'm with would give or would not give. If that person doesn't give, I'm like, canceled. Period. Canceled. You're a bad person. Oh my gosh, how could you not have compassion? And then I would give, and I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's compassion. But I was wrong. And that's why both actions can be equally detrimental if not done right. I'm not discouraging generosity, but I'm also not encouraging selfishness or greediness. All right? What I'm trying to say is you have to be generous. Right. That's it. Okay? Let's talk about it. When we give money freely, we promote dependency. Like in the book, people would say, why would we borrow money when people give it to us for free? When we give money, when we give spare change to people who are begging, I'm putting air quotes because I don't want to label, I don't know, just for me, the labels like beneficiary, begging, these things, it doesn't sit right with me that I would use these things, but it's just my vocabulary falls short. So these are the things that I would say, but I have to find other words that would sit right with me. But just saying begging or even helping just doesn't sit right with me. I don't know. But anyway, where was I? Anyway, so when we're giving spare change to people on the street, we're turning them into beggars. We're just promoting dependency over and over again. I sound like a broken record, but hear me out, okay? When we do feeding programs, okay? Long lines of children waiting to be fed, like a lunchbox meal, a soup, you know? What good is a cup of soup when that child is struggling in poverty every day? Or if that man that you're giving it to is struggling with addiction? What are we doing? Band-Aid fix. Is my saliva gross but human? Anyway, so I'm saying and I'm not against anybody who does feeding programs. The intentions are right. And I'm going to talk about at the end of this video how we can shift our energy into something that is actually productive and that is not short term. Because these problems have been going on way before you and I. I don't know how old you are, but even though you're 100, poverty, homelessness has been going on for far too long. And what are we doing? Feeding programs, giving spare change, that is not enough. One-day treatment for something that has been going on for a very long time, that is not enough, okay? The reality is aid has helped make the poor poorer and growth slower. Aid has been and continues to be an unmitigated political, economic, and humanitarian, humanitarian disaster for most parts of the developing world. For example, let's take Haiti. Did I pronounce it right? Haiti? Okay, let's take Haiti, for example. People would go. Charities would go all the time. That's like the capital of like charity stuff, you know? But then they are becoming poorer and poorer. Charity organizations are becoming richer and richer. The rich are becoming rich. and the poor are becoming poor. Why? Because we are, I'm sorry, I'm screaming. Because we are giving more power to the giver and less power to the recipient. We are disempowering the people that we're giving to, and we are empowering ourselves. When we give, it makes us feel good about ourselves. But do we ever stop and think for a second, am I actually helping this person? Am I actually contributing to their mental health? Am I actually contributing to their overall health, their physical, spiritual, mental, financial wealth? Am I doing that? Or am I just doing this just so I can feel about myself? Feel about myself. Feel good about myself. And I know, like, when people help, I mean, the feeling good about yourself is just a bonus, but you actually want to help, right? You actually want to help. But when people go on missions, when they build houses, when they go to these areas that need assistance, and you build houses and you give food, why are you doing things for someone that can do it for themselves? Don't do for others what they can do for themselves. For example, there was a story in the book that I was reading, Toxic Charity. It's a true story, right? And so every Christmas, of course, charities would go out in different communities and give like gifts and all that, right? And this particular household, when like the giver went to the house and then gave gifts to the children, the father of the house, poof, gone, ghost, crickets, bye, gone. Okay? Why? The father of the house. And don't tell me, oh my gosh, toxic masculinity. He has like fragile masculinity. He can't take it that someone else is helping his children and not. No. It's your responsibility as a father. You want, as a father, as a parent, even as a friend, you want to be the one that would make your child happy, help them, all right? So that father was crickets, ghosts, right? Why? He felt disempowered. He was stripped out of his integrity along with his wife. Like, you are the man of the house. You want to help. You want to make your children happy. But there's someone else who's giving gifts for free. And the children would think, oh my gosh, that rich man helped me, but my father couldn't do that for me. You know, like, good things come from the rich and we're poor and my dad can't do anything for me. You know, that mentality in the father, in the wife, and the children, that's not good at all. But the giver probably had good intentions. But you have to understand that human beings are complex with complex feelings, emotions, you know, and you have to understand that when you do something, it has some kind of effect. When you give, you have to understand how, like, is it actually good? Is what I'm doing good? You know, I thought that when I start my charity organization, it would actually go well. That I'm doing charity work, everything's great, I'm helping people. But no, it's actually a very dangerous field because you have to consider that not everyone is like you. The things you feel like are good when you're doing to other people, it is not good for them, probably. And you have to understand that their thought process, you have to experience what they experienced. That's why when you help, it shouldn't always be material things. It should be emotional, spiritual, mental. And I'm not saying spiritual like go and spread the word against their will and make them feel like, yes, God this, God that, God loves you, and things like that, which could be good, but that is not enough. When the things that you're preaching will just make them feel like, oh, it's okay that I'm in this situation as long as I have God. No, you have to empower them. All right, you have to empower them. And I'm not saying that everyone disempowers the poor, okay? I'm just, please, disclaimer. I'm not better than anyone else. I read a book I have some experiences and I am sharing it with you because the things that I see the charities are doing, or the I swear I'm struggling, humanitarian, okay, the humanitarians, them, what they're doing, when I see it, when I see the videos, the photos, just does not sit right with me. And like, even myself, when I take photos, when I take videos for my charity, it just does not sit right with me that I'm posting it. Like, it feels like, oh, look at me, look what I'm doing. But ultimately, I have to do it because it's for accountability purposes, that the donors could see that I'm doing something, or the public could see what I'm doing and hold me accountable if I'm not doing it right. Okay, so again, check yourself. Here's the thing. I'm big on checking myself every time I feel a certain way. When I feel a certain thing, I always ask myself, why? Where is this coming from? And I dig deep and I address the root cause of the problem. Same thing when I encounter someone, I always try to like observe and ask questions. And that's why people think like I'm a pseudo therapist or I'm a guidance counselor whenever I ask them something, even though it's just like interesting for me to learn about someone. This habit, I hope you're like that too. We should also apply it to the people that we meet and we assist, right? When we see someone in poverty, we have to dig deep and understand what is causing poverty, what is causing homelessness, what is causing addiction, what is causing mental issues, right? Like when we see people on the street naked, screaming at people or laughing at themselves. Why? Why is this happening? And it might take years. And sometimes I feel like I'm growing impatient. I'm like, I need to do something right now. That's why we turn to these short-term fixes. But when we do this band-aid fixes, we have to make sure that we're also working towards something long-term. But when we do these short-term fixes, we have to understand that it's dangerous. Okay, it's dangerous because we do not want to promote dependency, but we also don't want to be cold or unselfish. I mean, selfish, okay? We can give unselfishly, all right? Here's my point, all right? I went ahead of myself again. All right, what can we do? The book suggests so many great options. There's even like an oath for compassionate service, just like, like how medical people take an oath. Excuse me. How they take an oath. We should also take like an oath for compassionate service, right? So here it is. Stop treating them like victims. I can't help it that I feel sad for people. I feel sorry sometimes, but I have to snap out of it. Hello? Like, don't ever look like you're sorry in front of someone. Don't ever look like you pity them. But instead, you have to praise them. You have to celebrate them, Don't make them feel inferior. Like, you feel it, empathy, but it should be empowering. It shouldn't be disempowering. Second, when relief does not transition to development in a timely way, compassion becomes toxic. 3, unselfish self-investment may be freely offered with no expectation of payment. It may not seek credit. It may even be anonymous. But unselfish investment should never be mindless. Never be irresponsible. Always calculate the cost. Always consider the outcome. Always be a partnership. When I started Heartcry, again, like I mentioned earlier, I always wanted to be unselfish. I always wanted to be, giving freely without asking anything back. But I did not realize that that in itself is not empowering when you keep spoiling people. For example, take parents and their children. When they spoil their children, what does come out of it? Nothing good. Spoiled. We don't like spoiled children. So we can't spoil other people also. And when you think like, oh, I want to spoil my girl, I love her so much. You're promoting dependency. How many times do I have to say that? Okay. I wish I knew better, but I know better now. And I hope you do too. All right. It has to be a partnership. Both of you are equals. When you step into a community, you have to understand we're all equals. Regardless of what they have or don't have, we're all equals. Human race, that's it. Point blank, period. Human race, we're all equal. Man, woman, whatever you may identify as, you're all equal. That's it. Point blank, period. You're not better than anyone else. You're rich, doesn't make you better. You're religious, doesn't make you any better. You started your own charity, doesn't make you any better. All right? Period. Oath for compassionate service. Never do for the poor what they have or could have the capacity to do for themselves. When you step into a community and build houses, the people in the community, they know their community the best. So you let them build their own houses. As human beings, we want to feel useful. We want to feel a sense of purpose. And having to do something, a job, a work, makes us feel like we have a purpose. So when you take that away from the people and do it for yourself, it makes them think that they cannot amount to anything else and you can do it better. But no, it shouldn't be that way. Okay? And it doesn't mean like you have to order people, the community, like, oh, you do this and do that. No, you have to do it together. Actually, you go there and you ask them, how do I do it? How can I assist? How can I help? How can we do this together? They know better. They know their community better. Okay? They've lived there their whole life. You just got there. Maybe you did research, but they know it better. Okay? And you might know some things, because of your educational background. But again, you have to come together. It's a partnership. Okay? It's participation, not a transaction. Got it? Period. Second, limit one-way giving to emergency situations. Here's another thing. All right. Recently, a fire broke out around an area in the city. Okay. And then I was like, okay, let's donate clothes. And it turned out that a lot of people also donated clothes because it was an emergency situation and a lot of people were asking for help. And it turned out that a whole basketball court was filled with clothes with no owners. We all wanted to help, right? But what happened? Okay. So what I also wanted to for Heartcry is to let the whole emergency stuff. A lot of organizations are doing that. But for Heartcry, we want to make it long term. We want to really study, research, develop, and see what we can do and make it long term projects. I'm not saying like, oh, look at Heartcry. doing the most, doing the best. No. Okay. We all have our different, functions in the community, just like body parts. This could be heart cry. This could be another organization. This could be another organization. This could be another organization. Okay. We all have our functions and we're all equally important. Third, strive to empower the poor through employment, lending, and investing, using grants sparingly to reinforce achievements. This story in the book, a successful charity organization, I think it was Opportunity International. What they do is give money to the entrepreneurs of local communities that don't have the money to start their own business, like a small food business, catering business, what they don't have the money for. Opportunity International gives them money. And then when the entrepreneurs have an ROI, they give back the money to Opportunity International. See, that's like trust. When you give the money, you trust that they will give it back to you. It's not like, you owe me, give back my money, bitch, better have my money. No, it's not like that. It's trust. It's work. Subordinate self-interest to the needs of those being served. Period. Listen closely to those you seek to help, especially to what is not being said. Unspoken feelings may contain essential clues to effective service. So when I was helping this community, like you would see it anywhere that people would have like meek thank yous. Their body language, shoulders, eye contact, less eye contact, how they communicate with you, and how you are as a giver, how you stand. They would treat you as someone who is above them, and unconsciously, perhaps you would treat them as someone who needs your help, who needs saving, who needs your assistance, the food that you're giving, when it shouldn't be that way. Last, above all, do no harm. In conclusion, I just wanted to say that I made this video, I don't know how many months ago, but I made this video with my best friend and we talked about Filipino resiliency. And a part of that video, I started a rant and said that, I kind of came from a place of resentment because when I started my charity organization, not a lot of people were supporting. Yes, not a lot of people were supporting, but I got blinded by that and I didn't even focus on the people that were. Anyway, so I kind of grew resentful of that. Like, why aren't people doing anything? People are struggling and there are people like celebrating their life and, don't even care about all these struggles. Or I would go out and see a lot of homeless people and I feel like I'm not doing enough, and I also feel like other people are not doing enough. But I have to keep myself in check again. But anyway, going back to the point, I made this video and I started this rant, and I was like, why aren't people doing this? And people just do this short-term fixes. And then I posted that highlight on my Facebook page, and then this random guy, he said that I was a brat, I was self-righteous. I don't know, but that's what I got out of it. And he was right. At that moment, I was very hurt and I questioned myself. But he didn't have the best approach, but still, I learned my lesson. And we really can't, I am sorry for sounding like I was the only person that I was helping people. I'm sorry if it sounded like I was being self-righteous. Honestly, the last things that I want people to think of me as is a liar, self-righteous. That's it. A liar and a self-righteous and like this. What's that? What's the antonym of authentic and genuine? Whatever that is, I don't want to seem as that. And I really apologize if you made it up to this point. I just wanted to say sorry if I sounded like I was the only person that was helping. I'm pretty sure. I mean, like when I went on with Heart Cry, I realized that there are a lot of organizations, great organizations led by the youth, led by other people that are doing a lot of great work in their own way, in their own communities. And I was wrong to think that I was the only person that was helping enough. And I hope you guys keep me accountable. And as for a Heart Cry, if you're my friends and if you've been keeping up, you notice that I've been posting a lot of quotes and not much of projects. It's because that we are currently in the process of registering in the government. I have a lawyer and we've been in contact, and I just want to make sure that Heart Cry is registered in the government so that you guys will at least have that piece that what you're donating is, being accounted for. And yeah, so if you're watching this and you want to start a charity organization, you can always message me. I may not know much, but I can link you to the right people. But if you want to be a part of Heart Cry, if you want to be a part of like the research and development, we really need people. This is the first time I'm calling out to people to be a part of Heart Cry. But if you're watching it, if you want to, I'll leave the link down below. And I would love to have like a team that would research and come up with solutions for these complex problems. Be in contact with different organizations as to how we can partner up, link up, and help each other. If you're someone who doesn't have the time to be a part of organization or doesn't have the time to start their own charity, talk to your friends about it. Talk to your friends about this video. If you don't agree with it, talk to your friends about it. Talk to me about it. If you agree with this video, talk to your friends about it. Talk to me about it. What else? And one last thing, when you help people, whoever you're helping, if you're helping yourself, if you're helping family, friends, don't keep tabs. Okay? When worse comes to worse, when fights break out, don't ever keep tabs. Just don't. When you help. Don't take a mental note of what you did and what they didn't do for you. All right? When you help, it's help. And it's out of love. And it's out of trust. Okay? That's it. I think that's it. And if you really want to help, you can. And that's it.